Alright, having set up the levels here, you can see I'm at floor plan level 1. You can see where the elevation drawing exists. I'm going to try to bring in one of the floor plans. So, same again, insert link, CAD. I tried to organize the files into a directory. So, let's see, existing level 1. I guess this is all describing existing buildings. So, anyway, open. It's a link. The link is going to be pinned, and you're going to have to unpin it and move it. So there it is. Unpin it. Let's move it somewhere the inside of these elevation markers. And let's select the elevation markers and move them to the outside. Notice I'm picking both. Need to select both the arrow and the marker itself, otherwise the scope line, that doesn't go with it. And check here that in the selection filter that only 2 things are selected, in case you're worried about moving something particular. Now at this point, yeah, I suppose you could set up the site topography. I'm not going to bother with that right yet. So we have a grid, and a grid is a familiar thing, and that is probably the next thing that we should set up. These look like letters going across. Let's start with architecture. Grid is an architectural grid datum is an architectural element. Architecture grid, grid bubble. Start with this A, and I'm going to label it A. Select it and drag it out and open that checkbox. We don't need it at both ends, so I'm going to skip these EA, EB, and just draw the ABCs for now. Continue. Architecture, grid, B. Let's drag upwards so we have the labels here. Do we have a C? I don't know what the heck they do. There's C. D as in dog there. We can drag the length of these down afterwards. We don't have I think what I'll do is just draw a bunch of them and label them afterwards. So the intermediate ones, I'll just put the bubble a little bit lower. I'll have to go in and rename them. Nice thing about grid lines is they snap to geometry. I hope we don't have to use all of these, but we'll see. I didn't note what scale the AutoCAD drawings were, so my grid bubble is slightly bigger. Let's not worry about that just now. Let's draw the ones across. Someone wasn't very careful labeling these. I'm not sure why. E1. Well, let's. Okay. Architecture grid. Let's draw one here and call that 2. And then it'll start inferring 3, 4, 5, etc. Grid 3. Here's 4. 5. 6, I believe, is that. 7 is the one above. So this is similar to what we did with the Andover Street site project. Okay, we're going to have to rename these afterwards. This is a really complex array. It looks like there's some steel elements, but we're not going to bother with that. We're going to model those as columns. We will need the grid lines that go through the columnar elements there. So this one, for example, E3, I'm going to label it's pretty clearly one that's going to control the layout of the columns. They go astray at this point. There's steel around other architectural columns leads me to believe that probably some shoring was done. These may be round existing steel columns. They're not on grid, well, they are on grid lines vertical. Here's another grid line that we're going to need that we don't have, and that one's E5, architecture grid. That was E3. This one is E5. So, looks like what's going on, the middle grid line controls either 2 insertions of steel or 2 existing steel elements, and then later the other. We don't really care. This might all be modeled as one massive column. I mean, it's hard to believe that they wouldn't just finish this out. I don't want these lessons to get too long, so I may save this as a work in progress, and this will be lesson 2. let me save the video and then I'll finish some of the Revit model and you can have a look at it.